So exciting things going on out here, even since last time we've been out here. Fill us in on some of the latest, specifically those dollar figures that were given.
Good. Well, first of all, we've got over 11,000 hours of volunteerism that's gone on out here to date, which is on our website. We also have 700 people, over 700 people that have come out to volunteer here. You're standing on the Parents' Perch right here. This Parents' Perch was built by Darian Collison, the Eagle Project, for his troop, for us, and so we've got picnic tables here in this split rail fence. The 181st Intelligence Wing will be coming out this weekend and building the stairs up to the perch, which will be very exciting as well.
Okay, what were the couple
Yes.
big dollar ones you were telling me about?
Yes, and then this week, Vectron Energy, a very strong partner of ours, they've come out on many occasions with their equipment and their men, so they're providing in-kind volunteerism. Plus, their foundation just approved $50,000 for the park last week, and we got notification on that. Very exciting. And then we have a health organization here locally that signed a contract for also $50,000, and that's going to be a tremendous partnership. There'll be a press release on that in May when we get in a little more detail.
So how quickly will you see that money put to use?
Very quickly, because our grand opening is October the 15th, and we're all on, speed out here trying to get this accomplished, and right now we're on schedule with everything. So, yes. Now, I don't know if we want to cover that a little bit when we go into the LZ as far as at the grand opening. That's where, a lot of time will be spent. There'll be races all over the place and things like that going on. But, so.
And then, again, tell us, of course, easy question, what all is out here, and explain some of the features, even some new ones you've added just right now.
Well, we're very excited about this week because we had about $30,000 in our budget to put in special features and challenges in this section, and they're spread all over here. We've installed 12 in the last 2 days, and from skinnies to ladder rides to log rides to teeter-totters where you go up and come back down on the other side. And so these are the things that attract a lot of folks, and they improve their skills, because this is a beginner section of the park here. It's the basic training skills park, but they come out and they can ride around those features, or they can say, well, I think today I'm going to try that challenge on. And there's nothing like being able to do something that you've tried before and not been able to accomplish, and it brings great pride in their in their accomplishments, and brings a lot of smiles on the kids' faces. And parents from up here will be able to see about 6 different trails where their kids are out riding. And about every 10 minutes they'll see them go by, because there'll be another lap. So they won't be out of sight for very long, because you can see so many different spots from this one point.
Mm-hmm. And then tell how big the park is, and explain the trails.
This section of the park, the basic training skills park, is about a mile. And the whole park, though, will have over 20 miles of trail in it. This is just for the kids here. And then there'll be a dual slalom course that will be the first of its kind in the state of Indiana, that will be over on a finger system across from us. And then we'll also have a pump track with little mounds of dirt where you don't even need to pedal. You just get the momentum going, and there'll be a kid zone for that with smaller little mounds of dirt to ride on, and then larger ones. And then over in the corner of the LZ, there'll be first jump line, significant jumps where there'll be maybe 15 or 20 feet in the air between leaving one jump going to the next one. And so we're very excited about that. And then there'll be about 100 features in the entire 300 acres. So this is just 12 of them to start someone out, the basics, and then as they gain more confidence and experience, then they'll be able to experience the other proving grounds where the other features will be installed that are a little more difficult.
Okay. Gene, talk about the amount of work that's been put out here, and hours. It's just endless.
Well, as I mentioned, we have recorded all these hours. It's on our spreadsheet, and it's also in our webpage, so people can go and see how many hours and who's actually been here. We have ISU. We just won their Community Partner Award for the year. That was very exciting at their banquet they just delivered. The governor was just here last night and talked quite a bit about the park and his excitement for it, and his wife actually came here about 8 weeks ago and rode the park. So lots and lots of hours, 11,000. I bet by October that we have 15 to 20,000 hours that have been logged. Because on one day you can do 200 to 300 hours. Last Saturday, just with 13 people, we had 205 hours. So that's exciting. And we'll probably have we have 700 people that have come so far, and they should be probably maybe close to 1,000 by the time we get to our ribbon cutting in October.
And remind me again when you guys started doing all this.
We started doing this about 2 years ago. Introduced the idea to Kara Kish, who was superintendent of the Vigo County Parks and Recreation Department. The board got excited about our idea and our vision. We did a feasibility study, and that was about $4,000. So that was kind of a big number to hit to start with, just to see if it was feasible to actually have a park here, and overwhelmingly and unanimously approved to go forward on that. And by the way, since then, the park board has met, and this area, this 300 acres, will be a bike park in perpetuity. So after 5, 10, 15 years, maybe when our current superintendent's gone and another one comes in, this property will be maintained as a mountain bike park.
That's great. When you started this, did you expect all the support, and did you know it was going to be anything like it was?
Well, you and I have been together from almost the beginning on this, and kind of seen it grow. And it was something that I visited with David Patterson on, who's over the Convention and Visitors Bureau. And he said, when we took our first map to him, he said, usually people bring me a napkin. And we showed him 300 acres of these lines going all over this 300 acres, and he was just blown away. And he's been a very strong supporter. They just gave us $25,000 just in the last 60 days to build a park here. So that was kind of exciting from their perspective. We've had a $25,000 anonymous one recently, another $10,000 contribution. We've actually raised just over $1 million now, and we have about $1 million left to go to finish the fundraising for the park. Art Spaces and the Griffin Bike Park are now in a collaboration to put a sculpture out in the entrance, and it'll be a memorial space honoring, remembering all those that have been killed in Vigo County for the last 200 years. So that were killed in action for Vigo County. So that's the next thing we'll be meeting on next week with Art Spaces, and they're very excited about their opportunity to be engaged in this memorial park. And you asked me a question a moment ago, and it was, did I ever expect this to be this? No, I thought there was going to be a trail out here initially. And when our designer came at his own expense the first time, spent 4 or 5 hours walking these incredible mounds of dirt out here, and he said, look, do you want a trail or do you want a destination? And we said, well, we don't know what that D thing is, but we'll take one of those. And that's exactly what's turned out here. This will attract people from all over the United States. We're expecting conservatively 70,000 people a year to come into this park, and it'll be free to the public 24/7. When we have events that are on a national level, though, there will be expenses for those that are coming to race, and because there'll be awards and prizes and that type of thing.
Talk about what this means to you. I mean, I can't imagine standing here and looking over this. You probably do it every day. What are you feeling when you do that? Give us that emotion.
Well, it's pretty moving. Our son was killed in 2009. We were in kind of a daze for 2 years and didn't really know what to do, to remember and honor him. And then as we started kind of getting our feet back on the ground and started seeing clearly, we realized that he used to ride his bike out here. And that was one of the last things we did with him before he deployed. Went to Brown County, rode those beautiful trails over there that are some of the best in this entire country. And we decided, okay, let's do that. Let's introduce that to Vigo County Parks and Recreation Department. And we did, and Kara Kish had already been thinking about this for 2 years. She already had files. And then she happened to bump into Nat Lopes from California with Hill Ride Progression Design Group, and they, he's the one that drove out here, or flew out here on his own, and said, do you want a destination or a trail? So, I mean, what was the happenstance that she would go to some meeting shortly after our visit and bump into this guy, and then they have, you know, a pretty strong meeting, and she just knew that this was who that she wanted to work with. And Nat, we spend 4 hours a week with Nat Lopes with Hill Ride, speaking with them from California. And then once a month now, he's coming in for 4 days every single month between now and October. What an incredible commitment he's had. And you know, we've paid him to do that in a contract, but I guarantee you that he is putting twice as many hours into this probably as what we paid him for, because he's inspired by the project, the reason for it, the purpose of it, and the memorial aspects.
So when this is all finished, do you think it will live up to the legacy that you wanted it to be?
Absolutely. I can daily feel, you know, just the impact that it's having already. You know, when you've had 700 people come out and give 11,000 hours, you know, something special going on. The folks that came today to install these features, actually they spent 2 days here. Just amazing. They were just so kind and so appreciative. I mean, it was like we're paying them, and it's like we were doing them a favor to let them come build it here. Just an amazing attitude from these 3 young men that came, and we told them the story about why we're building it and who we're building it in honor of, and just they were so grateful and so helpful in so many respects to put all these features in. You know, they didn't even have to actually help us. They could have just dropped them off and really left with a little bit of supervision. And they dug their feet in and put them together and helped us lift them and do all the things that you're seeing right now with them installed out here. Just amazing. So every time we got a guy from Florida that's here today, Bill Szymanski, and he just heard about the park. He's a bridge builder in Florida, and he got in touch with the International Mountain Bicycling Association, which we're a chapter of, and decided he was going to come out and take a look at it. And come to find out, he is actually from Terre Haute, Indiana, used to live here, and he said, well, I used to ride that when I was a kid out there in those spill piles. And so he came and visited, and he said, there's a lot of water out there. He said, well, I think you could use some bridges in several places. So he's bringing out thousands of dollars worth of bridges. One of them is going to be 200 feet across the lake, the 27-acre lake out here, and it'll be about 2 feet wide. So one of the challenges will be, can you make it to the other side?
Yeah. That's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be amazing. So he's been here today helping us and making sure that when he brings the bridges next month, that they'll be, you know, docked appropriately and anchored right and be safe for people to ride.
So if you could put all of this into a quick 15-second soundbite about how you feel, what would you say?
Okay, let me take a second on this.
And what it's meant to you, what this project means to your family.
What it's meant is we have seen a family's loss, a tragedy, turned into a treasure and turned into a legacy, not only for Dale and for those who've served, but for all the people in this community. And we're very excited about the opportunity that people have to come here and remember him and his sacrifice, as well as all those that have been killed in Vigo County, and to have a good time, having better health, better fitness, and just enjoying nature.
Any questions, Gary?
That was 30 seconds.
That was great. Anything else you want to say? With the extended interview or for the piece? So we're putting it all up online.
That's right. I don't know if I said anything about being in Indiana Legacy Project? I know I said it in the beginning, but I don't think I said it
Nope.
here.
Nope.
Okay.
And explain what an Indiana Legacy
Yes.
Project is, too.
When we first started building the park, we were invited by the governor's wife, Karen Pence, the First Lady, to apply for what's called an Indiana Legacy Project as part of the Bicentennial Commission. And she said she was serving as ambassador for that commission at that particular time. And it was a very long application, and it suggested that we go and get folks to sign support letters for the project. We ended up getting 35 supporters in that process, turned the application in to the folks in Indianapolis over the Bicentennial Commission, and in 2 weeks we got an answer back that we had been approved as a legacy project for the state of Indiana. So that's very exciting. We've received now letters from President Obama and his wife Michelle. We've received letters from former President George W. Bush and his wife Laura, and the governor's wife came out about 6 weeks ago and rode the trails out here and tweeted all over the place about her experience. And we've just had so many positive things like that with the place is a magnet. I'll give you one other example. We got a letter of support from the president of the National Recreation and Parks Association. They're over all the parks and recreation in America, and supporting what we're doing and how we're doing it and the impact it was going to have on our community. And then last fall, they had their national conference. They invited Kara Kish, superintendent from here over these parks, over the 3,000 acres, and Nat Lopes to come in and speak to their national convention. And they did such a wonderful job and had so much of a good response that have actually been invited to come back and speak again this year. So that's pretty major when you're getting folks like that are saying, wow, this is exciting stuff, you're really doing it. So I'll say that now. To give you a little bit of a comparison, this park is on 300 acres, as I've mentioned. We'll have over 100 features. The most successful park in the country right now is in Boulder, Colorado. On 42 acres, we're on 300. They have 40 features. We're going to have over 100. Their first year in operation, over 50,000 people came. That was in 2012. And that's been repeated every year since then. So if you kind of compare what this community should expect compared to that park out in Colorado, everybody should get pretty excited here.
Yeah. Okay.